cutest little projects I found at the Dollar Tree. Never done this before. This little blob of a tiny animal. It is pouring here. There's lightning and thunder. There's some right now. But let's check the instructions out. And what? Oh goodness, it keeps going. I didn't even turn it over, guys. Okay, the feet. Can you guys hear this rain? Do this wad of just cute guyness. Is he a little unique? Yeah. Seems super aggressive. Do we like poke a little hole? Oh, that's nice. Hi guys, and welcome back. I have the cutest little projects I found at the Dollar Tree. I think a couple weeks ago, but I could not pass these up. I've never done this before, ever, and I have kind of looked into it on other YouTube videos. It looks a little intimidating, but we're gonna figure this out. So we have a tiny little cat. This is just the cutest little blob of a tiny animal. We have a koala. I don't know if you guys can hear outside the window in case it gets a little louder. It is pouring here. There's lightning and thunder. It is the best time to be filming. I don't know why that can help me focus, but if that's being picked up, there's some right now. If that's being picked up, it's just the best sound ever. Anyway, then we have a hedgehog. So my oldest collects just tiny little knick-knack weird things, which I guess we all kind of do in the house, but she loves tiny animal creature type collecting. So I'll thrift and I find her, you know, little glass hedgehogs, or she'll find them on her own and such. So when I saw these actually reminded me of her, and when I get done building these, I'm just going to, you know, pass them forward to her. So like I said, it's a little intimidating. I watched a video, but I think we can figure this out. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the cat. In this house, we are cat lovers. I've had shirts and all kinds of strange things on with cats for some reason. It's just like a strange thing I collect at this point. So my oldest loves cats too, and so we'll go ahead and start with this little guy and see if this is a success or a fail. All right, so we're gonna open up this little guy. Everything also in this kit for $1.25 is included. It includes anything you need. So I thought that was really cool too, because it wasn't just like a starter kit. It's a full, you guys have to be picking up those storm sounds, but I hope that's not like overtaking the video. But anyway, this came with everything you needed. So it has the foam block and the, what is this? The polyester fibers. See, this is why it's intimidating, because what? Then we have two little eyes. We have his little eyes. So cute. And we have instructions. Where's the felting needle? Is that what this is? Yeah. Oh, that's crazy looking. Okay, so they give you what? Yeah, 2 of those. Oh, yeah, okay, they're different sizes, I see. But, okay, let's get to the instructions, because immediately I'm like, why would this be shaped like that? But let's check the instructions out. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is the template for the size reference. So he'll be this tiny. Oh my goodness. Okay, and also, this is interesting that they give you the foam, because the few videos I watched on YouTube, they showed, and I'm sure this is for like experienced felters, but they showed like you taking the wad of felt and just turning it into a, you know, this would be its little body. But we are using this, which should hopefully be like a simple way to get started. Okay, so we need to foam block. Okay, so take this wool, the cream, curl it, and what? Okay, I have to get this in my brain, so I'll see you guys back in a minute. Okay, see, I spoke too soon. So basically, this is not the body. I thought that was weird, that's why I mentioned it. But you work on this surface. So you take your little wool guy. It says 2.8 grams of wool. So that's a no for me. We're gonna just do like, I don't know, it looks like you need a little, where's his legs come from? Here's the ears, tail. Okay. Oh goodness, it keeps going. I didn't even turn it over, guys. Okay. So yeah, we just need some left over for like the feet. Can you guys hear this rain? I am gonna have to listen back to this and see if this is so loud. It looks really cool though. Let me show you guys really quick. Like, that's insanity. Okay, anyway, back to this. I'm gonna stay focused. Okay, so we're gonna take 2.8 grams of wool, right? And then we are going to do this. Okay, we're just gonna do this. That looks too big though. Okay, so we're gonna remeasure this. We're gonna do a tiny little, there we go. And I wish, it's so distracting. Do you guys see those trees? I get so distracted when it rains. So distracted because that could come down on this room. But anyway, we're gonna stay focused like I just said. Okay, this looks a little too big still, because we need a tiny body. All right, that's our measurement. Now, you take your little needle and then you cause pretty much tangles in the fabric, which molds its little body. And I'm sure this is a pretty crazy process. So now that I've kind of got the concept down, see, it's already kind of matting up into like a little wad of just cute guyness. So I'm gonna work on that like this over and over until it's formed into his teeny little body. And I will show you guys that part when I accomplish it. So I will see you soon. I just want to show you this real quick. So I've been working on the little body part, and he's a tiny bit smaller than he needs to be. So, and he's looking rough, right? I'm sure I could go in and smooth all this out. I already poked my finger with this, and I don't suggest it, right? So definitely don't do that. Just stay on your thing. I actually was on my thing, I just was going insane. So what I was meaning to show you here was, this is a the little circle, but I'm gonna take a little more felt, and then I'm gonna kind of like smooth it out and put this sucker in there, wrap it around, okay, and then, oop, see, that's more the size, and then I can just jab, 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 okay, not off that though, jab, 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 and he'll be smoother. So that's what I'm gonna do right now, and then I'll show you the results. The body is pretty much done, but I also got back on here because I was just gonna ramble a little. This already, okay, so I just said 4 minutes ago in the video, it seemed intimidating, but I already am instantly like, if I could create my little creatures that I draw and paint in this form, I don't know, that may have just like spiraled something in my head, because I am immediately thinking of like all the little creatures I create being something that you could hold. And that probably sounds crazy, but they would be so cool as like a different form. So this may have like, this is such a fun process, like just, it's pretty much up to your, how you design something. Right now I'm following a template, but if I just had wool or, the felt in different shades, you could mold and create these into anything. And now I already have the little needles. So my brain instantly picked up on that. So, okay, we're gonna focus on the cat though, and we need to make his little ears. All I mean by that is there might be like a future video where I do this and create a creature or two that I come up with. Okay, the ears just look like we're gonna just go for it. I don't know, we'll make it look like an ear. I'm gonna create 2 little ears the same way. I'm just gonna continue to shape them. So see, we kind of have a triangular shape. They're a little more round, but you could, that's what I mean. This is kind of open. I could honestly take this felt, even though I have some templates here, and I could just create the cat I was envisioning if I wanted to, but we're gonna try to get him as close as we can. I probably have like a little bit too much. Let's see if we can get rid of some of that. Okay, well, we're pretty much just destroying the whole Okay, well, that's a learning process there, because you can't just tear it apart. I've already, like, obviously created all the tangles. Ultimately, you're creating little tangles that bind together. Years ago, I had really long dreadlocks, and this is a very similar process to how I would keep them kept. So you would take I used a crochet needle, and I would pretty much do exactly this, and I would do like a lot of looping and pulling the hair through, and it would just create, you know, the texture of a dreadlock. And that was how I kept them up. So when I did see this, I figured it was a very similar process. And I do know that's not how all dreadlocks are, you know, created. There's so many different styles of dreadlocks. That's just what worked for my hair, and keeping them kept. But this reminds me so much of that, because it's just such a similar process. Okay, so that looks, I'm gonna stop following the directions. Like, I pretty much have this down. Oh, we do have a little face hole. Oh, no, see, yeah, so we need to create, oh no, that is his face. There's no separate face, unless they put a little nose part on there. Yeah, okay, well, we're just gonna create how we want to. I have the guideline of the instructions, but we're gonna put his little ears on. I think they showed that earlier with using some white. Yeah, so you use a little bit of the white here to kind of mesh the two together. And this here, this step reminds me of clay. So like when you do clay, you have to, there's different methods to connect the pieces so that they don't, you know, snap off. And so I usually do like a crosshatch method, where I just, you know, create hash marks opposite of each piece that I'm trying to connect, and then you connect with water and more clay, and it builds like a bind between the two. So this is almost the same concept with using the white material. I feel like this guy is gonna look a little crazy, like look how big his ear is, but that's okay. It's not, it doesn't have to look exactly like the picture. We just now have the idea of how to do it. So, I don't know why I was so intimidated by this, but now that I'm going on it, it's actually really cool. It's super, oh, his ear's looking wild. It's kind of calming too, because you have to sit and focus on, you know, putting the pieces together or shaping them correctly, so your brain is very focused on that. Okay, so I'm gonna add a few more little features. I'll probably move on, you know, to his face and such. And if I run into any other things that I wanna, you know, show you, otherwise I'll spare you the individual steps. If something changes from the white or the brown fabric, I'll check in with you guys, because I believe the pink is for like, yeah, his little tiny nose, and I'll do the eyes with you and such. But otherwise, we're gonna be doing like his tail, his little eye patches, and his legs and that. So when I get, and it's all the same concept, you would just, you know, create with the felt and then connect it to the body. So I'll check back in with you guys soon after he's a little more built up. All right. Here he is so far. Is he a little unique? Yeah, he is, but we don't mind that. This is our first time making, you know, tiny little guy. Kind of looks like a hamster. Kind of looks like a rabbit. But we still have the face to add. So I was just realizing that this is so cool. Like, I've never really worked with this material. I have sewed each of my children some stuffed animals. So I have made stuffed animals, little bears, when they were all born. And so I've worked with like fabric and sewing, and I'm familiar with that to a certain extent. But working with this felt is just blowing my mind, because you can smooth it out just based off, like, if I want to sharpen this, which should probably be sharpened, you know, his little face, you just sculpt it. It's almost like you're sculpting, except it's with felt. It's kind of blowing my mind. Like I said, I'm just not familiar with this, but I was, you know, just saying that I'm thinking of all these possibilities of things you could create with felt. It's got my mind really, like, I'm writing all my ideas down as these are coming up, but we're going to add the little nose, we're going to add his eyes, and then I don't know if I'll be able to shape, but he has kind of like, you know, their little like mouth area. So let's try to do the nose real quick. Oh. I also feel like obviously he could have been bigger, you know, based off how much felt I have left over, but I don't mind that, you know, this little guy for the first attempt, because now I do have this left over to play with, and, you know, come up with anything else I decide. I'm just going to put that aside. This guy didn't need to be like a giant first project. It looks so much like a rabbit to me, so we're going to just add his little nose. Let me go back on my thing. It looks like a rabbit, right? Comment below, is he a rabbit, a hamster, a cat? Is he, should I put him in the trash? I don't know. But this was so fun to just play around with, you know? I'm not seeing a cat, guys, but it's okay. Like I said, he's just a little unique. Okay. Maybe we'll try to position his nose up a little more. Let's put his eyes in too and see if that helps, okay? Because we don't really, I know it's his ears. Like if his ears, no, that didn't help anything. Okay, so it's definitely not his ears. Okay, I think these just get pushed in, right? Oh my goodness. We're just smashing his face in. Okay. How do we get his little eyes in there? This seems super aggressive. Do we like poke a little hole? I mean, the instructions are right here, but okay. We're gonna just poke his little eye hole. Oh, it's going in. Oh. Okay, wow, that's aggressive. Okay, his whole body, his whole body is not okay. That's not okay for him, but that's all right. like I said, unfortunately, he's just a little experiment. Doesn't mean he's not cute. Doesn't mean he wasn't wanted. He's just a little bit of like trial and error here. Okay. We can reshape him too. Okay. There's his other eye. Tell me this does not look like a rabbit. That looks like a rabbit with a tail that... Okay, so I'm going to try to shape his little jaw. Okay. Maybe if we add his little... It's so cute though. I don't care what this is. Like, if you could just feel how cool this guy looks. He could probably use like a little bit of white. We're just adding like... If you do this professionally, by the way, and you have any tips, I'd appreciate it. I know I'm most certainly probably doing everything about this wrong, or like there's a better method. So I don't mind, you know, hearing that criticism or advice, however you want to put it. You know, that's helpful. I feel like it's his ears. But whatever this is just like a little guy. We're going to try to shape his... I swear it looks like a little hamster. Okay, now we're just giving him like a creepy, I don't know. Okay, we want him to stay kind of cute. Trying to puff his little face up. You know the Pinterest, if you guys are familiar with Pinterest, the befores and afters, you know, like the fail, try it on your own. This is one of those right now. Because we all saw the picture it was supposed to be, right? So he's his own little... I also just love the way this feels. Like, it feels so textured, but it also feels so soft. Like, it's just such a strange... I'm sure I've seen these in craft stores. I'm sure I've seen these where in like a shop, you know, but I've never once thought, wow, those are made out of felt. Somebody handmade those. This is such a little art form that I feel like I have never even appreciated. Who knew the Dollar Tree could just like broaden your perspective? A little $1.25 project, and it's blowing my mind. Also, the storm, speaking of blowing my mind, the storm has passed. I actually went downstairs and took a breather from this because the wind and stuff was getting so bad. But as soon as I went downstairs, our power shut on and off about 2-3 times. So I would have lost lighting and all that anyway. So I'm glad I was not focusing, I guess, so much on the little guy I was building and just took a break. Oh, see, this is another cool thing. Well, not cool because it should be connected, but you can see like it's not connected. So you just take, and it's so similar to clay, which I already referenced that, but you just take the two and then, And I'm sure this takes tons of practice. Like I said, if you do this professionally, you've been doing this. You know how to shape it. This is an actual skill because, no, you know, like, I'm sure with time you get better with this because it is so cool. So if you're thinking about trying like a new project, or you're just like, man, I'm not really familiar with that, because I had no knowledge on this other than I saw this and was like, how could you not want to make this? This is the cutest thing for $1.25. Everything's included. Now, I want you to look at this. Did I get, like, did I nail it in most opinions? I'm going to go with no, and that's okay. Let me show you on here. Okay, we're not on the same page here. But also, I'm a little misled because I could have seen through the clear bag, don't get me wrong, but it does look a little more brown here, which I personally would prefer more neutral as opposed to this orange. I think the orange looks a little more costumey, but like I said, I just grabbed these, so I actually grabbed these thinking I'll never sit down and do those, but they're only $1.25, and then look at me butchering it. I mean, he's just so cute though. I know when I give it to my oldest, you know, she'll be like, oh, that's nice. Thank you for that. But if you watched the whole video, I appreciate you being here as always, and I will see you on the next one.